So yeah, I'm being a bit trying to be a bit clever with the title there. This is not about civil rights. This is about being right wing and trying to be civil with it. I've discovered over the last like 5 odd years that if you're going to talk about these things or discuss your worldview with folks, that you have to kind of develop a vocabulary or a manner of interacting with folks on the understanding that if you're discussing X and they are emotionally attached to X or are vexed or exceeding wrath about X, that your polar opposite view might be insulting to them or a offensive. So okay, let's just take that as the way things potentially would be then in a conversation about that. We could be talking about abortion. We could be talking about you know degenerate culture. We could be talking about politics. Whatever. So I suppose a key kind of element then, or kind of plank for proceeding with the conversation is to try and be clear that you're not without empathy for anyone's individual circumstance. What you're talking about is the larger dynamic that you have a problem with, be it a piece of law or some sort of policy or some expression of culture, whatever it might be, that it's the larger project we're talking about. We're trying to move beyond people's individual experience, because we could spend all day long berating each other with our appeals to personal anecdotes, and all appeals to personal anecdotes do have a place. A they're they have a kind of a civilizing effect on us to a certain degree. But we also giant thumb, sorry. But you got to move past appeals to personal anecdotes as well if you want to try and uh, talk about what the larger project of your belief system might be. So liberal, progressive, sort of secular, or, you know, that sort of worldview is obviously something at this point I would have to say that I've very very many problems with this, and in my experience over the last number of years, those types of conversations are the types of ones where we get dragged into appeals to personal anecdotes, because then it's well, you're just being insulting to me, and it's not the intention at all, even though it's kind of possibly slightly unavoidable sometimes, but it's not certainly not the intention if we're having a good fair conversation about worldviews. So yeah. So yeah, the civil right, you know. Will this become a cool or a wonderfully awesome coinage? Probably not. Probably not. But I've touched on this before as well. Like I'm probably going to start repeating myself a lot in these little unscripted vignettes. But it is it's almost like a version. It struck me the other day thinking about it. Like the absolutely ridiculous the kind of debate me bra, or you're using the logical fallacy of special pleading. The appeals to logical fallacies. That's like you could never get out of that you know conversational space. And I mean I was as guilty as the next prat in my 2008 era, freshly minted YouTube atheist, for crying out loud. Yes, if we're trying to be forensic about something, you can't use logical fallacies to express your position. But when we're just talking, particularly to people we know, sometimes there is a place for logical fallacies because we're talking about the qualitative here, not the quantitative in many cases. It's not all data. It's not all data driven. Because if you keep appealing to data, people are going to say, yeah, but why is that interpretation of data necessarily a good thing? We're going to start moving to a more qualitative interpretation of the world around us, not just, well, the numbers tell us so. Anyway, a bit of a digression. But it's yeah, but yeah, certainly we're trying to talk about talking productively here, which should be our goal if we're having good fair conversations about worldviews, especially if we know we're going to have a sort of a diametrically opposed view to lots of folks. So yeah, I'd be prepared to admit at this stage also that I'm a bigger Catatonia fan than an Opeth fan, and I never thought I'd say that. On the face of it, Opeth are more musical, but Catatonia write better songs. Okay. I hope there's someone out there in internet land that agrees with that position. Please let there be. Come on, let's. Anyway, sorry, total digression. So thanks for listening to another not particularly well thought out little brain fugue. But yeah, my basic point here is how do we engage with each other when we're diametrically opposed in terms of our view. Okay. No easy answers to this. Okay. Or should there be? It should always be a little bit of conversational pressure to try and make us always be examining our belief systems. That's suitably pretentious end to the video, and thanks for listening.